Be sure to ask about United Healthcare's chronic special need plan.
Hello, everybody.
Ends December 7th.
Happy Super Tuesday and our second day back. But telling Ray and everybody yesterday that I deleted the show yesterday by pushed the wrong buttons on the settings, and I deleted the show yesterday. So we'll have to start over again. So we'll get everything organized here. But I'm gonna do 2 shows. I want to get the super chat going, but I gotta get certain amount of hours. So I'm gonna do 2 shows a day until we get that. I don't know how that works. I think it's 3,000. It said. Kay will be listening. She's recovering from her dentist appointment. God, everybody get their channels back. There's so much intel. We got Billy Bean just came out, Carol, and then that's 25 minutes, and then Derek has a better video raising, much mellow one. It's 20 minutes, and then we'll get those 2, then we'll get the other short. We'll get the short ones. A lot of good stuff. No, showing 8 showing, but nobody's in chat yet. Now 6. But I do have the pay for coffee, and I got a FedEx P.O. box. Raisin, you got that still? Until we get to Super Chat applied. Okay. Carol. Yep. Yeah, Kay's gonna be arrested. She's listening. Hope everything went good. Slow Country. I think I remember you. Did you have a channel? I can't remember if you had a channel or not. Well, yeah, everybody got their channels back, and I've been on. Yep. Okay, that's good. Yeah, I raising this show dropped the channel. I got my backup channel on top there, and yeah, I made it over to 1,000,000 views. I can't believe I did it, but I kept track of all my views. Remember, I got 500,000 on this one, so I accomplished what never thought I would do it. Did you hear about my mother passing last year? My mom passed and my dad passed in March. If it wasn't for doing this show, I would be in a mess. Yeah, I deleted my show. Thanks, Soul Country. Yeah, I deleted my show by accident yesterday, so we got to start over. I'm blaming it on Carol. She told me to push the wrong button, and I deleted the video. So Soul Country, that was bad. All the people that we lost the past years. We lost Lee. We lost. You remember Faye from Australia? I did a show for her. And I cannot believe Shift Kicker passed away. That was very shocking. So bad about that, man. Terrible. We lost quite a few people. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that too, Soul Country. But I'm not going nowhere. I'm going to stay out as long as whenever. If I keep getting support, I'll stay on. Because the real news always tells lies. I'm a little bit early, so I got it scheduled for 1. And we'll do 2 hours, and then we'll get 2 hours tonight, 68. Oh boy, we got some breaking news, you guys. Breaking news. We better jump to it, Raisin. Chicago.
Cedro, California. We watched and saw what happened on the southern border for years. We've covered this extensively. We're not new to this, and we've been going from Brownsville all the way up to San Ysidro, California, everywhere in between, seeing the thousands and thousands and thousands of people. Chicago became a mess as far as money, housing, and taking care of these migrants over its citizens. People were getting African Americans and low income individuals would get terrorized in their own communities by these migrants, illegals. And it's just a big mess. And now the new administration comes in and says they're going to round up and deport these criminal illegal aliens. A lot of them that came in through the southern border would get arrested for violent crimes. The city of Cook County itself would honor ICE detainers. And we got just a big mess. It's common sense. It's common sense. And the politicians, for some way, reason, shape, and form, seem to want to defend these people over American citizens. It's disgusting. It's horrible. So we're gonna call it out. We're gonna call it out. And if I understand Football Jones said love the red pill journey. To me, it's we have all opinions in the chat. I have friends all across. It's not politics. This is just common sense. This is common sense for this country, and it's not cool to sit there and tell politicians telling people to confront ICE, film them, defend your rights and stuff like that. There's nothing to defend here. People are in the United States illegally, and they've been ordered to be deported. It's time to deport. It's time to deport. It's time to clean up the cities. Time to clean up the cities.
Oh my goodness.
It just frustrates me because Pritzker is sitting there posting all types of crazy stuff.
Well, hello there, B. How you doing? I got my channel back yesterday. A lot of people got the channels back. and I lost my video yesterday. I pushed the wrong button, deleted it, so this will be the first one after yesterday I deleted. But I got backup channels I've been on, and will be I had other channels I had and everything. I had like 5 other channels, like being like um Hawk, but I'm saying I got tons of channels, and I made it over the million mark. Now we're gonna build up. I got Cash App, I got Pay for Coffee and a PO box, and I gotta earn my hours to get the super chat. But we're gonna go 2 hours. I gotta get 3,000 hours. So today we're gonna all week we'll be doing 1 to 3, and tomorrow I gotta take Chico to get a shot at 2:30. So it might be this 68 tomorrow. But glad to see everybody in. Man, missed everybody.
Them. Let me get the specifics about the National Guard, and I just want to add in the mix. Where did it come? It came up today. I just saw. Okay, well, one, MSNBC reporting Supreme Court of the United States set to rule on National Guard deployment in Chicago with nationwide implications. The Supreme Court can decide at any moment now whether
martial law
to approve the Trump administration deployment of the National.
What's GovPlus? GovPlus is revolutionizing how you apply for any of these important documents. Apply in minutes with one secure online application. Your information
as litigation under Chicago and Oregon too.
Why is that doing that?
Seeking the high court that alert intervention countermands the exercise of the president's commander-in-chief authority and projects its own authority into the military chain of command. So what's going to happen here? Opposing high court intervention, lawyers for Illinois and the city of Chicago told the justices that state and local law enforcement officers have handled isolated protest activities in Illinois, and there is no credible evidence to the contrary. That is ridiculous, considering one incident that we just shared where something happened, where ICE agents appear to be under attack and people confronting ICE and Border Patrol. Last week, another place. Look at this guy right here. This is a tweet that just came out before this incident. Some guy sitting there warning everyone that ICE is in the little village area of Illinois. So for the city of Chicago and for them to say that there's no problem or these are just isolated incidents, no, it keeps happening. It's the third major one that we know about in just a matter of weeks. One in the east side of Chicago last week, they deployed tear gas into the streets. They also did that with the one when they ran the vehicles and the crazy wackadoodle woman with the gun who has been posing threats. So, we'll see what happens here. Let me just read on for a second. The order in question came from U.S. District Judge April Puri, who is the district judge handling this restraining order, Biden appointee, who found that the administration failed to satisfy the legal requirements for deployment. She said there wasn't enough evidence of a rebellion or danger of a rebellion, and that there wasn't enough evidence that Trump can't execute federal law with regular forces. Explaining her decision, Perry cast.
Okay, we'll come back to that later on. I want to show a photo here. You guys see that? Now they're saying November. Raisin. They're stretching it out to November now. Oh my goodness. So we'll get going here in a few minutes here. Hopefully everybody, we're missing Ann. So I'm going to get logged into Telegram, and our first video we'll do Billy Bean, Carol. What's taking so long? God darn it. All right, here we go. We're getting it. Five 58263. 58263. All right, let's get going here.
About 11 a.m. Some of the sources I'll use today: God in the Bible, Patriot subscribers,
24 minutes. 24.
Joshua Phillip, BP Earthwatch, Ancient Alarms, Space Weather on YouTube, formerly Suspicious Observers, Martin Armstrong, Mr. MBB333 Plus. Some of the things I'll cover: Melissa, Atlas, hit by the sun. President Trump ups Venezuela. And the CCP steals U.S. DNA to build super soldiers. So let's get started. So I'm going to begin with space weather and the hurricane. We do currently have in the Caribbean a tropical storm named Melissa. Current winds 50 miles per hour, pressure 1001, moving west-northwest at 2 miles per hour. Now, I've seen some sources putting models out showing it going into the Caribbean, possibly into the Gulf of Mexico. But this is what the National Hurricane Center is showing. It's showing, so here's the U.S., the Caribbean. It's showing Melissa will turn and head toward Cuba. We know this is Haiti, Dominican Republic. Now, if it turns back this way, then obviously there's a chance it could
I'm trying
impact
to
the
remember
U.S. and
everybody. I put my
Florida.
channel back.
So the National
Okay.
Hurricanes
1 to 3.
models,
and
they're
6
putting
to
out
8
their
flights.
prediction, doesn't take it into the Central Caribbean, where we know the U.S. has like 10 warships, tens of thousands of troops, preparatory to a military action against Venezuela. But it does appear that it could pose somewhat of a threat like next week for Florida. So we'll have to keep our eye on it. Now in Texas and other parts of the U.S., the cool down is coming. In South Texas, late next week, we could have daytime temperatures with highs of 70s, nighttime temperature lows in the 40s. So that's pretty cool for us. So that's going on. Now we'll talk about what's going on in space. So we have the Sun, Mars, Jupiter, Atlas, the Earth. We'll talk about what's going on the Earth first. So we had information from Ben Davidson on YouTube now, Space Weather, formerly Suspicious Observers, that we've had an impact in our mesosphere. So here's the Earth. Then our first layer of atmosphere, troposphere. Second, stratosphere. Third is the mesosphere. That's approximately 50, 85 kilometers above the Earth, or 31 to 53 miles above the Earth. There's been a change in how signals are registering in the mesosphere. And Ben Davidson puts forth, this is another concrete
6 to 8,
evidence of a ongoing pole shift on the Earth. On a pole shift, eventually the dynamo inside the Earth will stop. The north and south poles will flip polarity. And Ben Davidson and many other sources, I've been looking at this type scenario for about 30 years, since I was in college. And we do appear to be in that process. So this is another example of evidence supporting the proposition that the Earth is currently undergoing a pole shift. So that's going on. Now we have this from Steve Cole's aggregate site, Daily Mail. Avi Loeb, Harvard astrophysicist, describes Atlas as a massive mothership, as are many other reliable sources, and that currently it's going to be behind the sun and blocked from view from the Earth, but that November 4, so we have, this is October through about December, we'll largely have images of Atlas blocked by the sun. However, November 4, the European Space Agency is going to use its JUICE Explorer to take images, or the best images it can. This ESA JUICE Explorer is in the area of Jupiter, which would be behind the sun.
Been a long time.
So we can look forward to that. On December 19th, Atlas will be in its closest position to Earth at 167 million miles. So that's going on. We have this from Stephen Burns. He's a geophysicist. That so this is Wednesday. Last night, Tuesday, we had a massive CME come off the sun in this direction. Stephen Burns would said it would classify on Earth as a G5. And we currently have Atlas moving in this direction. This large CME will hit Atlas in 2 days.
I've been back.
We do not know what the effect will be. And we have this.
Channel I got back.
Yes, other space agencies such as NASA appear to be withholding their high resolution cover. Melissa,
Oh, shoot.
Atlas hit by the sun.
Yeah, now I'll talk. Sorry. But yeah, I've been on like I got like 5 other channels, and this one got back finally. Everybody's getting their channels back. I got over 1 million views. So I accomplished that. So but I got donations there if anybody would like to donate. I appreciate it. Raisins Ma Kay had her tennis yesterday, so she's listening but resting. So welcome back, everybody. Missed everybody, and we're here forever since we have no real news on the regular TV channel. I think I reset it, Billy. So I'm going to fast forward a little bit.
Reliable sources.
After the
And
5-minute
that
mark,
currently
so we
it's
got about
going
20
to be
minutes on this.
behind the sun and blocked from view from the Earth. But that November 4, so we have, this is October through about December, we'll largely have images of Atlas blocked by the sun. However, November 4, the European Space Agency is going to use its JUICE Explorer to take images, or the best images it can. This ESA JUICE Explorer is in the area of Jupiter, which would be behind the sun. So we can look forward to that. On December 19th, Atlas will be in its closest position to Earth at 167 million miles. So that's going on. We have this from Stephen Burns. He's a geophysicist. So this is Wednesday, last night, Tuesday. We had a massive CME come off the sun in this direction. Stephen Burns said it would classify on Earth as a G5. And we currently have Atlas moving in this direction. This large CME will hit Atlas in 2 days. We do not know what the effect will be. And we have this, yes, other space agencies such as NASA appear to be withholding their high resolution images, including China, UAE, which are offline. The clearest images of Atlas have been released this week by the European Space Agency. So we see Atlas is going to be hit by a CME, a massive CME, in about 2 days on the other side of the sun from the Earth. We have Mr. MBB333 yesterday. Something streaked by the sun, and that the sun did release a huge eruption, a CME, but it's on the other side of the sun and will impact Atlas in 2 days. So we'll see what is the effect. We have ancient alarms bringing out information about the Hopi blue Kachina prophecy, talking about we would see in the sky a blue star with the star brothers returning to Earth. The Hopi saw this in dreams and visions, and that there would be space objects appearing in Earth sky when the age changed. The Hopi put forth this will be the fifth world purification. And we also have the Hopi say it will be many objects in the sky. We have BP Earthwatch put out yesterday new images on his site demonstrating what appeared to be a mothership and a fleet. So that would appear to support the Hopi prophecy. And we have this. We have, so Stephen Burns, he put forth, so this large CME ejected last night that will impact Atlas in 2 days, will also cause on the Earth in 2 days a proton storm. So that's going on. And we have this. Okay, so we have things going on during this. I believe this is a cycle, correlates to the pole shift on the Earth, correlates to changes in space. We also see other impacts on Earth, such as the war cycle, and we're seeing that. So it appears that the U.S. is really juicing up their military situation on Venezuela. And as I put forth, so we have Cuba here. We have that storm Melissa, predicted by the National Hurricane Center to turn back this way. So we had, according to Hal Turner's intel yesterday, the U.S. is advising its allies of an escalation in Venezuela. And we have from Capital Cosm recently interviewed Martin Armstrong, a globally famous economist. And Martin says, Martin has offices on all continents and is familiar with the Venezuelan people, and they see Maduro as a narco king. And Martin says many South American countries are Marxist or communist, and that President Trump is supporting Milei in Argentina, who is challenging Marxism. So that's going on. And we would see with President Trump's stated goal of a change in leadership in Venezuela to get rid of Maduro, as President Trump also positively impacting Venezuela, turning from communism to being a republic. And now we
got 11 minutes on this one. Oh my God. Raisin, you're not going to believe who just came out. Oh, it's an hour. Oh my goodness. We're going to have a lot of intel today. The News Force lady's out finally. So We'll do this one. Then we got the other Australia lady. I got, oh my goodness gracious. Ah! I slid over. I think it was about 11 minutes.
We have Venezuela, we have Colombia,
11 minutes.
we have Ecuador. Ecuador fired into Colombia 32 rockets to hit cartels. So it would appear that Ecuador is working with President Trump, the U.S. military, and so forth. Colombia, in response to Ecuador hitting Colombia with the rockets, Colombia immediately recalled its ambassador to the U.S., Daniel Pena. So that's going on. When nations recall their ambassadors, it's often is a sign that military interaction could be forthcoming. We have this from Joshua Phillips of Crossroads. It's coming out. The CCP has been stealing American DNA. One way they did it was via the COVID test, which were manufactured by the CCP, and then many believe that the COVID was a bioweapon whipped up by the CCP. But now it's coming out. They also manufactured the COVID test, which collected DNA, which went back to the CCP, and they're going to use American DNA to genetically modify their children to make them super soldiers. This information is coming out from the former Chief Technology Officer of the U.S. Geospatial Intel Group. So, yeah. And the CCP is boasting about collecting DNA from around the world to create genetically specific bioweapons. And now many believe that the COVID was also a bioweapon. And we have this. We recently heard that, the deep state is being hit at least around their ankles somewhat. But the recent indictment of Comey and the recent indictment of Letitia James, and now this is coming out, a former CIA director, John Brennan, has been referred for criminal prosecution for his involvement in Russiagate. So way to go, President Trump. And we have this from Alex Cristoforo, a European journalist. We've heard that the peace talk to be pursued in a meeting between President Trump and President Putin in 2 weeks in Hungary has been canceled. But we have this information coming out from Russia, from Lavrov and Peskov, high-level government
the video yesterday.
officials. Lavrov is comparable to our Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, saying that the meeting has not been canceled, but it has been postponed, while Lavrov and Marco Rubio agree on certain areas. So that's going on. We do have peace on the table. Now from Hal Turner, just yesterday, we had in, so I'll do a little
we got
map
7
here.
minutes. We'll do,
So we've got Russia, and we've got Ukraine, Poland, Romania, Hungary. So there were 2 hits yesterday on Romania and Hungary. In Hungary, it was their MOL refinery. In Romania, it was their Lukoil refinery. Now it's coming out that Lukoil refinery in Romania is owned by the daughter of a Russian oligarch, and that in Hungary, the MOL refinery uses Russian oil. It's believed this was sabotage and certainly not hits by Russia, but most likely by NATO, the EU, or Ukraine, because these groups want World War III. And they were trying to punish these NATO countries, Hungary and Romania. And we have that going on. Now, Russia, the Russian military is making strong progress. So we have, in this area, we have Donetsk, Luhansk, Zaporizhzhia, Kherson. All of these voted, which they could do by the Treaty of 1991, to join Russia. Now, Russia is moving forward from the Donetsk area into a major city called Prokopsk. And it's believed this is currently 50 to 70% under the control of Russia, and this was last night. So that's going on. And we have this from Steve Quayle's aggregate site, New York Post. Yeah. So I found this story very interesting.
Okay, 4 minutes. 4 minutes.
We had a plane take off from, I believe that was Denver, Colorado. It was going to Los Angeles, California, had to make an emergency landing in Salt Lake City, Utah. When? So we have the plane windshield, a small square right here was hit. Glass was broken. The plane began to depressurize. The pilot was injured with cuts on his arms. This was United Airlines Flight 1093. This happened last Thursday. And it's not being put forth what hit the plane. It is being put forth this could not have been a bird strike. So we have speculators putting forth a UFO, space debris, and so on. But something hard enough to hit hard enough to break a commercial airline's windshield at 36,000 feet had to be something extraordinary. So that happened. And we have this. Yeah. So President Trump has won a victory, court victory given by the 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals that says it's okay for President Trump to deploy troops to Portland, Oregon. And that the president is the only one who has this authority. So that's going on. And now a short prayer given to me by God from the book of Ezra. And we pray, Father, as Cyrus released God's people to restore their churches and economy, led by Ezra, a priest scribe. We pray, Father, in the name of Jesus, whom many call Yeshua, for restoration under President Trump, described as many as being like a Cyrus. And we pray, Father, for your people in America to have sharpened skills as priests and communicators. We honor you, Father, in your commitment to America. And we say thank you, God the Father, God the Son, Jesus, whom many call Yeshua, and God the Holy Spirit. I say to my family and friends, remain steady out there. Continue to pray. God is in charge, and he is on the move. I love you, and I'll see you soon.
Okay, that's today's Billy Bean, the first one, until she comes out with another. So we're going to do short clips for about a half hour, and then we'll do news sports. She just came out with an hour one, so we'll do some short ones for a bit. Four minutes.
This has been a long time coming. The aliens have been desperate, clearly, to get in and see Trump. But they've waited, and they've waited, and they've waited. And one of the reasons they've waited is because of a bloke called Kevin Rudd, former Prime Minister of Australia. Not particularly popular in this country for, well, reasons you can Google.
This is Jacqueline's.
He was in the room
from Australia
when Trump and Albanese did their press conference. And I want you to watch/listen to this interaction between the president and Kevin Rudd. Not that you hear him much, because I think he's in shock. Okay, so have a listen.
Been concerned in Australia that it's taken 9 months to get this meeting. Have you had any concerns with this administration, with its stance on Palestine, climate change, or even things the ambassador said about you in the past, the Australian ambassador?
I don't know anything about him. I mean, if you say bad, then maybe he'll like to apologize. I really don't know. Did an ambassador say something bad about him? Don't tell me. I don't. Where is he? Is he still working for you?
Yeah.
You said bad?
Before I took this position, Mr. President.
I don't like you either. I don't, and I probably never will. Go ahead.
Now, I have so many thoughts on this, and I've spoken about this at length, particularly when he was made the ambassador, given what he'd said. And by the way, for those who aren't aware, he called Trump a village idiot and said he was a traitor to the West. Now, you can come back from anything with Donald Trump. Look at J.D. Vance, who, by the way, is on his way to Israel right now as we record. Look at J.D. Vance. He's his vice president, and he said some pretty appalling stuff about Trump. You can come back if you own it, if you apologize, if you say, I got caught up in all the lies, the fake mainstream media. Fine. But when you're too proud to apologize, it doesn't cut the mustard with him. He will forgive if you own it. If you don't, no chance. So Rudd, after this interaction, apparently they had a quiet moment, and Rudd profusely apologized to the president, and he said, that's fine, I forgive you, apparently, allegedly. But I guess the point I'd make is, why is this happening now? Why could he not have had this opportunity well prior? If he has relationships that are solid enough for him to have been given this ambassadorial gig in the US, given his comments about Trump, how has this not occurred earlier? And Albanese, who sat next to Donald Trump whilst he completely admonished Kevin Rudd, giggling, laughing. You're the one who put Kevin Rudd in this position, either naively not thinking Trump had a chance in hell of winning, or not caring whether or not Trump would win. So you can't giggle there. You're the one who appointed someone who called the current US president a traitor to the West and a village idiot. I mean, look, they did do a critical minerals deal, and I'm not trying to say that I basically announced this yesterday on the show, but I did. I made 2 key points about this meeting: critical minerals deal and Kevin Rudd. Tick, tick. I enjoyed Kevin Rudd much more than I enjoyed the critical minerals. Mind you, I know from a long-term, more mature intellectual perspective, that is a big deal. So well done.
Okay, that's her clip. I got other one I'm going to play later tonight. Six minutes. You guys remember him, don't you?
Sleep. And the same dream, same nightmare happens to you, in which Dylan Mulvaney in that nightmare is trying to love upon you. And for whatever reason, in the dream world, you are enthused by it, you are drawn to it, and Dylan gets closer and closer to you. And your physical body on Earth,
the market
is
raising
fighting,
is minus
tossing,
364.
turning, fighting, kicking. No, I don't consent. No. But your dream person is drawing nearer and nearer to Dylan. Then your earthly person jerks up, wakes up triumphantly, and escapes before that kiss happens. And you turn around and you try to tell your wife what just happened to you, how you were about to be violated. And you realize this is your wife. You are married to that. You're practically wedded to Shrek, not even Fiona. So yeah, of course your life is going to be miserable. And just when you think you finally got the nation's respect, here comes Orange Man in the White House constantly coming after you. Get this, apparently Chuck Sniffer now wants a meeting with Trump. All Trump had to do was just nothing. Here's what Trump just said about Schumer.
He's shot. This poor guy, I feel sorry for him. I've known him for a long time, but he's I think he's mentally gone. He's been beat up by young, radical lunatics. And I think Chuck Schumer he's gonzo. I really do. I think he's probably not going to run. It shows that he's losing in every poll. Now, this is hard. You know, he wants to meet with me. It's sort of hard to meet with a guy after I make a statement like that, but I'm just giving the facts. I think Chuck is probably finished. I know some people, Democrats, that would be good. Some good politicians and some, reasonable people. But I understand that they would not have a chance of, getting even the concept of holding the torch. They're not going to get it. But they have some people that I really believe they're low IQ people. They're stupid people. And they seem to be leading the party. So we'll see what happens. Look.
Oh, that was brutal. So it looks like in front of the cameras, Chuck Schumer is playing tough guy like he's Hulk Hogan in his prime. But behind the scenes, he's crawling to Trump, trying to get any concession he can from the Republicans to reopen the government. Because, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, the shutdown has completely backfired on Democrats. One, the polls show it. In Trump's first term, when the government shut down, 61% of voters blamed Trump for it. It was Trump's fault. And now with the shutdown, which I would honestly say both parties know exactly what they're doing, it's a very interesting political game. 48% of voters blame Trump, which means 52% of voters in America blame Democrats. I'm just saying that's a very bad sign for Democrats because they placed a lot of trust on the shutdown to, re-energize their base and turn people against Trump. All it's done is just anger the nation. Two, the second reason it's really bad for the Democrats is because programs like food stamps and Section 8 have been cut back. And what does that mean for the Democrats? Well, most of their voters don't work. It's conservatives who get up at 5 a.m. in the morning and go to tough jobs to work on really important things. Democrat voters are at home siphoning off our resources. And it's not to say Republicans don't enjoy any government benefits at all, like food stamps. And I'm not going to ever clown on people who take advantage of those programs. I disagree with the existence of the welfare system, but I will never attack Americans who take advantage of it. I will attack the government that is allowing it to happen. But now those Democrat voters no longer have their benefits. They're not going to blame Republicans because they do that all the time. They're going to look more intensely and blame the Democrats. So by every metric, Democrats lost in this. Meanwhile, Republicans get to finally cut down on government spending, which is something they promised to do while campaigning, but were unable to achieve in the big, beautiful bill because Main Street GOP people, dorks, the moderates they called themselves, like Don Bacon and others, would not have supported steep cuts to the federal government's reckless spending. The shutdown has been a masterclass by the Republicans. And back on the previous point about these EBT warriors, I see these videos of these benefit users, abusers really, saying, oh, if they don't get their EBT benefits for the month of November, they're going to straight up steal. And I just found those videos disgusting and disturbing. What do you mean you're going to cause harm to your community because you didn't get benefits that honestly don't belong to you? I think if someone is able-bodied, they should be working for the food they eat. I understand disability, elderly people, but if you're a 35-year-old man, go get a job. I despise these welfare programs. Oh gosh, Lyndon Baines Johnson should be hated by history for all eternity. That guy destroyed this country in so many ways. His great society just ruined everything. But anyways, let's see what happens with the shutdown.
Oh, hey, that was it for that one. That was a 6-minute one. We got Nick also that got his channel back. Yes, yes, 2 channels today.
ICE agents are barred from arresting illegal immigrants outside of courthouses, and if they defy his orders, they will be arrested themselves. This is on the Gateway Pundit. It's on Breitbart. But there's some details missing here that really paint a broader picture of who this judge is and the agenda that he serves. So before we get started, click like, subscribe, share this to your friends, turn the bell notifications on. We're trying to build this channel back up. I need your help. And I woke up at 5 in the morning to cover this story for you guys before I got to head to work. All I'm asking for is a little likey poo. Okay, just click the like button. So let's get into this. So Breitbart, they say Chicago area judge rules ICE agents can be arrested at courthouses. A Chicago area judge has ruled that Immigration and Customs Enforcement ICE officers can be arrested at Cook County courthouses if they violate his orders and arrest a migrant without a warrant. You know, the left, the No Kings protesters, they hold up signs. They make the argument that what ICE is doing is a violation of the Constitution because they're not educated. They don't understand what they're saying. And they say that, you know, these illegal immigrants are being detained and arrested without due process. And that's absolutely incorrect. And I'll tell you why in just a second. But, you know, it's part of this overarching narrative that's been perpetuated in the media that what ICE is doing is the equivalent of Nazi Germany. They're just going in, kicking down doors and zip tying hardworking Americans to detain and deport them without due process. That's sort of how the left wing views what's going on. When in reality, these are people that have violated the law. Many of them are criminals, gang members, cartel members, and ICE is attempting to enforce the Trump agenda and clean up the crime in major cities by deporting people that should not be in this country. But this judge out in Cook County, Illinois, just ruled that ICE, they need a warrant in order to arrest illegal migrants, what they call collateral migrants. So you have a warrant, you have probable cause to arrest one person, and they happen to be with somebody else who you know is an illegal immigrant as well. You're not allowed to arrest that person if they're in or around a courthouse in Illinois, according to this judge, because that, you know, would be unlawful or unconstitutional. That's the argument that he's trying to make with this ruling. But that's completely false, because under the INA, which is what ICE operates under, it's a law passed by Congress. They have the authority to detain and deport people in the U.S. and arrest them without a judicial warrant if they have probable cause. So this judge, this radical left Marxist lunatic serving the left-wing agenda, he's saying that these courthouses in Illinois are like sanctuaries, or there's like a force field around the courthouse that if you cross this line, the law no longer applies. And so this just gets added to the pile of instances where Obama or Biden appointed judges have made unlawful or unconstitutional rulings, blatant, clear as day, that obstruct the Trump administration from carrying out its agenda. And what's going to happen is inevitably it'll get overturned by a higher court. An injunction will be issued by the appellate court to overturn it and allow them to do their job. But they are delaying justice. They are obstructing justice. These judges need to be removed from the bench. Okay, they need to be removed from the bench. There is a cancer in this country. And what the Gateway Pundit and Breitbart missed is who this judge is, his background, his track record, his history. And when you see that, it'll all make sense. So this Judge Cummins actually worked for Obama up until the point he was elected to Senate in 2004. And he also worked at the same law firm, this civil rights law firm in Chicago. Now, what's most notable is his work in helping to defend Acorn, the voter fraud group, this left-leaning activist group that ran massive voter registration drives in poor and minority neighborhoods, which sounds good on paper, but in reality, they were caught submitting fake voter registration forms and inflating the voter rolls, paying people to submit fictitious voter registration forms, and amongst many, many other scandals before they were eventually shut down nationwide by 2010. So that's his claim to fame. That's who this guy is. And so now this Marxist judge, who is concocted in the same laboratory as Barack Obama, is obstructing ICE from doing their job and threatening to arrest them for doing their job. This is a cancer in this country, ladies and gentlemen. This is a much bigger problem than people care to admit. And it doesn't matter that it's going to be overturned by the appellate court, because by the time that it does, the damage has already been done. And this is a repeated pattern. People need to wake up and see that this is happening all of the time. And it has to stop. These judges need to be removed from the bench. We need to clean house. But since that's not going to happen overnight, I think it's time that we send the National Guard into Chicago, which is long overdue. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this video, if you learned something, share it to a friend, share it to your family, share it to your Facebook page, whatever you got to do. I appreciate you guys for watching. Be sure to click the like, subscribe if you haven't, and turn the bell notifications on so you never miss another update. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.
Okay, that's his first one for today. We'll get a second one out. Sure. 4 minutes.
How to report on this? I mean, it's the news. What am I going to do here? And we're on YouTube, and apparently you're allowed to talk about this stuff nowadays. So let's go ahead and pull up the story. Report: thousands of illegal immigrants found on registered voter rolls in Texas. Man, that's crazy. I can't believe that. I've never heard of something like this before. So one of those things that we're told never happens has happened again. Thousands of illegal immigrants have been found on voter rolls in the state of Texas as registered voters. All things considered, the country should consider itself lucky that the left has not been able to flip Texas blue, a thing Democrats have been trying to do for years now. This is why voter ID continues to be such an important issue. Come on, Gateway Pundit. You know it's racist to expect black people to be able to get a damn ID. That's just impossible because, you know, as Biden says, they don't even know how to get online. Come on, let's not be discriminatory here and require people to show ID, even though you need one to get on a plane, you need one to buy alcohol, you need one to do all kinds of things. Using an ID to vote is racist, as we all know. So this story was originally reported by Fox News, you know, the election integrity activists over there that have a long-standing track record of reporting on this kind of thing. They say a Texas election review has identified thousands of illegal immigrants on the state's voter rolls. Texas Secretary of State Jane Nelson said Monday. Nelson said a cross-check of state voter records found that more than 2,700 possible illegal immigrants were registered on the voter rolls, leading to an eligibility review across the 254 counties. The data came from a full comparison of Texas's 18 million registered voters against federal citizenship records in the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services SAVE database, according to the Secretary of State's office. Man, I wonder if this could possibly have something to do with the left's reaction to the Trump administration trying to deport all these illegal immigrants. I don't know. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, so I don't want to make any assumptions here, but I just suspect that might have something to do with it. So they go on to say, quote, only eligible United States citizens may participate in our elections, Nelson said. Really? Is that so? I didn't know that. I thought people over in China could participate in our elections. Man, I really don't know how far I can push the envelope here on this platform, but it just pains me. It pains me to self-censor in any sort of way. I have a lot to say about this subject, but I have learned that it's better to maintain your bullhorn than it is to push the envelope in some sort of like false virtuous kamikaze mission like we once did. I don't want to repeat the same mistake. It's best that we stay on this platform long term. But I wanted to report this story, just the facts, just what the state and government officials are saying. You know, Texas Governor Greg Abbott says that these voters are going to be removed from the voter rolls and vows and insists that only U.S. citizens can vote in Texas. So we'll see if there's any actions being taken place here. How did these people get here? How did this pass through the system? How did this slip through the cracks? We want to know more. We want more answers. We want more details. And we want accountability if there were crimes committed, if there were people that were involved in this that did it intentionally. We need to know where this is coming from. And I believe that there should be a nationwide audit of the voter rolls because there could be more instances. Could be. I'm not saying there are. I'm saying that there could be. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you think down in the comments. And please subscribe if you haven't already. Like this video, share this video to your friends and family. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.
Okay, that was Nick. He got his channel back. I got 5 3-minute ones from the lady on TikTok. It's a 5-parter. I might have played. I don't think I played this 5-parter one. It's 3 minutes each, and then we'll do News Force. You guys will like News Force. She's one of the best ones that does good intel. One of the best ones. So we'll see where I'm at here. Oh. Okay, this is part 1.
By now, because every time they're in trouble,
this is 4
some
minutes.
liberal activist judge magically appears
4
to bail
minutes.
them out. It's like deja vu. Same playbook, just a different scandal. And the latest lucky contestant, John Bolton. His case just landed in front of one of the most partisan judges in the country, a man whose obsession with Donald Trump borders on clinical. I mean, this is a judge who's twisted rulings, he's ignored precedent, and been overturned so many times, he probably qualifies for a frequent flyer program at the appellate court. But that Democrat luck, it doesn't stop in the courtroom. It's showing up on the streets too, like in Portland, where police officers were caught on video protecting Antifa rioters as they attacked DHS agents. You couldn't script this kind of hypocrisy if you tried. It's like the Democrats are writing the GOP's midterm campaign ads for free. And now, even James Carville is jumping ship, blasting his own party as it sinks under the weight of its own chaos. As always, like the video and subscribe to the channel. I also quickly want to say a huge thank you to all of you. We just hit 200,000 subscribers last night in just 9 short months. That is incredible. None of this happens without you watching, liking, and commenting, and helping spread the message, of course, that is rooted in facts, common sense, and patriotism. So stick around till the end. I've got a special shout out for our members and loyal viewers that you don't want to miss. So let's start with John Bolton, because the judge overseeing his case isn't just biased, he's practically campaigning from the bench. U.S. District Judge Theodore Chong, Obama's 2014 handpicked activist, has a resume that reads like a greatest hits album of anti-Trump rulings. Let's walk through a few of his most outrageous decisions. First up, 2017. Trump rolls out the travel ban to shield us from jihadist hotspots. You know, common sense security after Obama's open door disaster. Well, what does King Chong do? He slams a nationwide injunction, screeching Trump's ban is fueled by anti-Muslim bias. The case went to the Supreme Court, which overruled the district judge's decision 6-3. That is strike one for the Obama.
The market's
fast forward to
2020.
Trump is enforcing FDA rules for in-person abortion pill visits, keeping law and order while protecting life. Chung, he tosses the rules right out the window, giving Planned Parenthood a pandemic free-for-all. SCOTUS swats it down. That's strike two. Then 2025 hits, and Trump's draining the swamp with Doge. Elon Musk, he starts slicing bloat like USAID's woke billions to transgender operas overseas. Well, Chung jumps in and declares it unconstitutional. He blocks the cuts, calls Musk a rogue operator violating separation of powers, and actually orders Doge to restore email and system access for current USAID employees, essentially letting the agency police itself. The White House slammed it as a miscarriage of justice by a rogue judge subverting the people. The Fourth Circuit of Appeals overturns the ruling. That is strike three. Chung also blocked Trump's immigration raids on illegal aliens hiding in churches and sanctuaries. But that order, like the others, it didn't last. A higher court allowed the administration to proceed. That is strike four. Apparently 3 strikes and you're out doesn't apply if you are an activist judge. Well, now he's got Bolton, Trump's disloyal ex-advisor, who smeared the boss over Ukraine and China deals, pleading not guilty on October 17th. Passports have been yanked. His next hearing is scheduled for November 21st. And just to give you a quick overview of who is overseeing the cases, not only involving Bolton, but also James Comey and Letitia James, here's a quick rundown of the other 2 judges. So let's start with the judge that is assigned to James Comey's case. That is Judge Michael Nashmanoff. He was appointed by Joe Biden in 2021. Now, I did a deep dive on the judge, and I can honestly say I wasn't able to find anything that appeared to be biased in his work. Prior to his nomination to the district court bench, he served as a magistrate judge in 2015, and prior to that, served as a federal public defender in the Eastern District of Virginia for over a decade. Now, in the case of Letitia James,
okay, that's part 1. I got part 2. Everybody okay? Oh. Shoot.
Judge Jamar Walker. Walker is Virginia's first openly gay federal judge who was fast-tracked into the DOJ system. He spent 8 years as an assistant when the average is 12 to 20 years. He also completely skipped the supervisory ladder, never serving as a deputy, section head, or U.S. attorney. In other words, he was vaulted to the federal bench in record time. Now, that's not a disqualifier, but it certainly raises questions about how much courtroom management experience he brings into a case this big. James is due back in court this Friday. As for over in Portland, total chaos outside the ICE facility. Antifa radicals have literally turned the streets into a war zone. Check out this video. Those those rioters are hurling explosives and tear gas at federal DHS agents who are just trying to clear the driveway of the ICE facility. But the left insists nothing to see here. What's even more disturbing is that the Portland Police Department, they're running interference for Antifa. You've got to see this next clip. Watch closely. I'm going to show it to you in full. You're going to see rioters hiding behind a sign. They're basically shining a spotlight directly into the eyes of DHS agents. Now, the agents respond with pepper balls, and what happens next is mind-blowing. The two agitators sprint behind a line of Portland police officers who literally shield them from federal agents. Watch this up close.
Something in they're hiding behind the sign. And they're running for cover behind Portland police. Oh my God.
Unbelievable. We are so divided that one law enforcement agency is now protecting criminals who are attacking another. I mean, how did we reach this level of insanity? As far as the National Guard, a federal judge initially blocked their deployment with 2 restraining orders. But just yesterday, the Ninth Circuit tossed one of those out, meaning the Oregon Guard could soon be federalized. Now, the second order is still in place, but it could be changed at any moment. And if lifted, 200 troops could hit the streets fast. The next major hearing for this is set for October 29th. Now, independent journalist Nick Sordo, who has been on the ground through all of this, says the National Guard is desperately needed, and they're needed now because Portland police are being weaponized by the left.
They sent out Portland police and Oregon state troopers out here that were given commands from the top to retreat every single time that things got dicey. And the people of Oregon, now keep in mind, this is an American city. These people deserve better. They are victims of the government's total refusal to keep them safe, enforce noise ordinances. I mean, you hear these horns honking all day. This building right behind me is an apartment complex that houses veterans and young parents, and none of them are able to get the noise ordinances enforced. They are victims of the system.
We'll keep a close eye on the situation that is unfolding on the ground in Portland. Meantime, there's been a major development in one of my favorite genres, the F around and find out file. An Illinois State University teacher decided to go full WWE on a Turning Point USA table. If you missed it, I've got the clip, and then I'll give you the update on the other side. Watch this insanity.
Well, you know, Jesus did it, so you know I got to do it, right? I mean, Jesus did it. Good luck to these guys. Oh, yeah. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
Ah, yes, because nothing says academic freedom like body slamming a folding table in the name of social justice. That man, who clearly struggles with the concept of peaceful disagreement, is Derek Lopez.
Okay, we got 3 more parts, and then we'll probably stop after we do News Force, because that's going to be an hour.
The Democrat Party is in full-blown.
So we'll get 3 more of these, and then News Force. You guys will like News Force.
According to the Illinois State University Police Department, the 27-year-old was arrested on charges of disorderly conduct and criminal damage to property. Now, Lopez is a graduate student and teaching assistant who over the last week is alleged to have disrupted 2 information tabling events being hosted by a registered student organization.
The university released a statement confirming Derek Lopez has been let go as a graduate teaching assistant. The 27-year-old was arrested for disorderly conduct and criminal damage to property. Organization members say they didn't press charges after the first incident, but changed their minds after they claim Lopez returned 4 days later.
Maybe next semester, if he's ever allowed back on campus, Derek should skip the elective and major in anger management, because the left clearly missed the class on practice what you preach. I mean, they're out there waving their tolerance flag, preaching love and acceptance like they're campaigning for the Nobel Peace Prize. But the second someone dares to disagree, boom. Suddenly, they turn into the speech police, barking orders like political hall monitors on a power trip. And speaking of power trips, over in California, the governor's race is stacked with real winners, let me tell you. I mean, gosh, who do I vote for? Katie Porter, the queen of viral meltdowns? Or maybe Betty Yee, who went on Piers Morgan's Uncensored and basically said she's fine throwing our daughters to the wolves in the name of inclusion.
I think transgender female athletes are women athletes.
They should be able to compete. Really?
Oh my
So
God.
if you were governor of California, you would support biological males who identify as women competing in women's
Oh
sport in
my
the
God.
Olympics.
They are now identified as transgender female.
Really? So if she's governor, she's cool with biological men competing in women's Olympic events? I mean, look, here's the thing. I don't care what you identify as or how you live your life, but I do care when women are forced into unfair and unsafe situations. That's where most of America draws the line. And here's the part that makes my head spin even more. In one breath, Betty Yee says trans women should compete as women, and in the next she admits there are biological differences.
Out of interest, why do you think we separate the sexes in the Olympics?
Well, because they do come with different attributes in terms of physicality.
So she gets it, right? Case closed? Wrong. She immediately doubles down with something so nonsensical, you have to hear it to believe it. She then claims women can actually keep up with men in Olympic competition. You can't make this up. Watch.
Can you think of a single sport in the Olympics where men would not have an advantage over women, with the exception potentially of archery?
You know, I think you can see female athletes where, particularly in track and field, where agility is probably.
Have you seen the
Hey,
times
Eddie,
that women and men
pumping.
record in the Olympics for all track and field events? Have
I
you
do.
watched
I
Usain
do
Bolt
2
when
shows
he smashed
tonight.
the world record for the 100 meters?
I got
Yes,
2 clips,
yes.
and then we got
Do
news.
you think
for
women
us.
should run against Usain Bolt, for example,
Then
at
we'll
his
take a
peak,
break.
and that would be fair?
It's an hour of news.
I think, look, I'm just going to say this. There's a lot of misinformation about the ability of transgender athletes.
That wasn't my question.
As a woman, it's infuriating to watch another woman toss biological reality and women's safety in the trash just to please the activist mob. I mean, we fought for decades for fair competition and scholarships. And Betty, she just shrugs it all away like it's a nuisance. So what's next? Only men get to win college scholarships now? I mean, could the problem possibly be that she's been spending too much time around guys like this?
This is what democracy looks like.
I think there's only. I want to see what this pops up. There might be.
The Democrat Party is in full-blown free fall.
I think there's
this
only
weekend they were caught on camera.
3 parts to that because I got 2 different. It said 4, but it was a different subject. So we got 3 of those in. She's on every day. Do 3-minute clips. So we are going to do news for us and come back tonight with a lot more stuff. I think that lady from Australia has an hour one again, you guys. So, a lot of intel coming out. All right, where's news? Yep, she has. Wow, actually an hour and a half. So we got that one to play tonight. There it is. So News Force just came out a little bit ago. We haven't heard of it long.
Back with a quick update. We have
Hour
some
10.
serious stuff happening out there with our dumbs and a very interesting situation with our orange screen. We're going to jump right into the orange screen
There
this
we
morning
go.
because she's
Good
gonna
stuff there.
disappear. And today is October 22nd, 2025. As you can see here, everything is clear throughout the United States for our orange screens this morning, except for this area right here. And I just want to point out this Eastern orange screen. All right. So we have it going, stretching from our war zone, which is Mexico City down to Guatemala. So from our war zone, and it cuts off here at Houston, right straight across Louisiana there. And it goes clear up to Nashville, guys. All right. So they're being very specific this morning. And they're squeezing on the war zone just to the north of the war zone here. Right in through here. They're really putting a squeeze here. So they're definitely up to something that includes this side of the United States. But they're also definitely tied into something over here, which I am going to guess has to do with the Dums because of the way it stretches out into the ocean. Now, we do know that we have a hurricane spinning right about here. Miss Melissa has come in to help us out with some Dums for the next couple of days. She's just going to lay there and spin a little bit. Let's go ahead and just take a look at her quick.
It is Wednesday, October 22nd, 2025. I'm meteorologist Brian Shields. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your patience as we track Tropical Storm Melissa. It is likely to become a hurricane and be closer to Jamaica. I want to track that, what I'm seeing, which models may be right or wrong, but also what I'm seeing in the environment, more of the time frame, some additional specifics in new areas that are going into monitor mode, right? We'll cover action mode and monitor mode in this and why this is going to take a turn. And it is such a slow mover. Now look at it right here. See these white shadings? These are telling me the clouds are super tall. Obviously bigger clouds hold more rain. That is the immediate concern and the concern we're going to have over the next several days as this lifts closer to Jamaica. That'll pump in more rain for Haiti, the Dominican Republic, even parts of Puerto Rico, and even seeing the tail kind of far reaches of it. Northern Colombia will see eventually some more rain bands for parts of the ABC Islands. Not everyone will get rain across the ABC Islands, but some of us could get some additional flooding. But then this big blob as it stands now, as it gets closer to Haiti, it will start to develop further. It's not super organized right now, even though that looks really impressive. It's really the rain that is the concern, and it doesn't need to be super organized to cause some big issues with the flooding. That is my major concern. I can't stress this enough. Now, this is the most critical time with the system because we can do stuff ahead of it. And the number one thing is getting the word out. I've been talking to our teams on the ground in the Dominican Republic, Haiti, and in Jamaica to help spread the word. If you have a ministry, appreciate you getting some of the information out about this throughout your community. So I appreciate you sharing this channel, this link, just to get the right information to others. Now, as we go out in time here, today and tomorrow, a super slow mover. It's kind of sitting almost in the same spot. Friday and Saturday, gradually working its way to the north. And Sunday and Monday, closer to Jamaica, there is going to be...
Let me just back this up. All right, so... we are looking at this area right here is where they have a lot of Dums being blown up. We're going to take a look at that in a minute. So it looks like it's just going to sit out here and spin and just push water this way and this way down into Venezuela, Colombia, where they've been blowing up all the Dums. Okay, so let's go over and take a look. And this is coming from Mr. Weatherman, guys. All right. In case you want to go over and take a look. And hopping back over to our dumb screen. Let's take a look at what's going on. Big stuff happening along the beltways. I call them beltways that stretch up into Alaska up here. Swings down this direction and heads towards South America. Let's go ahead and pull back on that here. There we go. That's better. They come up and come along here and then run along the coastline of South America. And they are busy. You can see action. So let's head over here to where our hurricane is first. So our hurricane is spinning right about in through here. Right like that. And it's going to definitely be pushing water this way and down here into Venezuela. And let's take a look at those dams. So this is the action we have right now as that hurricane kind of settles in. And like he said, those clouds, those cumulus, those deep, deep clouds continue to stretch up into the atmosphere. And you can see they're still going to work, going to town on these dams. But what's interesting is over the last week, they've come on into this beltway right here of with the dams, and they've gotten very active right along these islands. St. Lucia, your Barbados, okay, Grenada, right in through there. So it looks like to me that they're just getting some more in here as that water is going to push that direction. Let's just take a look at this one here. This was 2 days ago, guys. Okay. And that was a 10 km. There's a lot of 10 kms in there. That's great. We know those 10 kms are our babies, our star of the show that lets us know they hit a main vein. They're done, the main tunnel. They're done with the veins around it. That was a 4.2, guys. 4.2 blast on that main right there in the middle of the water, like so. Let's see here. Let's take a look at this island and see what we can see. Barbuda. Princess Diana's beach. Interesting. Let's go on in here, guys. Just take a look. Yeah, they're calling this Princess Diana's beach. I find that interesting. I don't really see any action until you get over here. Huh. All of this in through here, guys, was all traffic zones, all adrenochrome. It was all about that. Here's St. John's Island, of course, right there. Potter's Village. You guys, some wicked things went on in these places, for sure. So one thing I want to say about that hurricane is if it gets any stronger than a Cat 1, and sits and spins and it becomes like a Cat 3, Cat 4, something crazy like that, if it were to do that, then you know that it's the deep state. When it comes to flooding these dams, okay, we keep it cool. I mean, don't get me wrong. Yes, there's mudslides and there's, all sorts of things that come with the territory, but that's what it takes to push that water down. But if you get much higher than a Cat 1, okay, you're talking about the deep state combined with it. Remember, we're on 2 timelines, a 3D and a 5D. So maybe this storm was originally going to be a white or a black hat storm using HARP. And they were planning on flooding this area to steal more kids. That's what they did. I mean, it's very plain and simple. They create storms, tornadoes and stuff. That's what they did for years. They would pick their area if they needed gold or silver or children. And, FEMA would come in and go ahead and set up shop a day or two before, and they would send the storm and, get what they needed. Take the children, take the gold. Guns. Guns are a big one because people register them. Why do you think they have them register them? So they can see where they're at. If you have a large arsenal, believe it or not, if you're one of the largest in the area, let's say right here in the Dominican Republic, let's say there's a whole group of guys that are gun guys, and they've all have the finest of guns and everything, and they can get a 20% take on children. You're going to find that these larger storms will find its way to that area, make the conditions just bad enough to where it's going to force, like, the ants out if they were to get flooded, meaning the people, so they can go ahead and get what they want. And that's what they would do. It was one big theft. Hurricane Katrina that went into, let me just come on back over here. All right. Let's come on back over here. That came into Louisiana here, into New Orleans. Back when Obama was president, here's New Orleans. Now, New Orleans is considered to sit inside of almost a fishbowl. Okay. And the reason for that storm was two reasons. They wanted children. They wanted those children. That's why those people were stuck up in that, their big dome there, their football dome for so long. They wanted children. They wanted guns and revenge. Obama sent that storm for flat out revenge. Now, some dispute that it was the mayor and some say it was other reasons, but that a lot of times, if some of these hierarchies, inside the Freemasons get mad at each other, they don't care about us. They'll just send a storm to whichever mayor pissed them off and, demolish their city and make them look stupid for history. Like that. Yes, it's their world, not ours. They will not have much control over HAARP for very much longer, guys. We just need to hang in there just a bit longer. Let's go down. I wanted to take you guys down. We're going down south here before this dumb disappears past South America. And we're going to stay on the Beltway. I call this the Beltway. Okay, right here. It depends on what you think. If you think the earth is flat or round, is dependent upon what you call it. So I settle with a happy medium of the Beltway. They are called fault lines too, in the flat earth realm, like that. So here we are. We're just going to come to the south of Argentina. Here's Argentina here. And Paraguay is right there, guys. All right, we're going to come on down here into these slammer jammers. Wait till you get a load of this. You guys, it's pretty massive. All right, this was 7 days ago. I barely made it to show you guys because after 7 days, we know that it leaves off the maps. So take a look at this, guys. It was at 10 km, 6.3 at Drake's Passage. I'm pretty sure I put up a quick post about this, but that was about it, about 7 days ago. But you guys, this is huge. If you know anything about Drake's Passage and what it is, definitely take some time to look it up and check out what it was all about there. Let me just back it a little bit so you guys can see how close this is to. So we have Antarctica right here. Okay, guys. Let's go to the east of that Slamma Jamma and take a look at that passage. Wait.
Back at 6.
I do believe that this one was the big dog. This was yesterday, guys. And that was 78 km deep. So she's down there. Definitely. 5.0 blast out there. Let's take a look at these other ones. This one just went off. Yep. So about 20 hours ago, again, 79 km. And that was a 5.2 blast. Pretty good slammer jammers out there. I do see an active volcano right here. So let's come on in on that. On this little tiny island. Let's see. Stratovolcano, Michael, erupting. Let's just take a peek. All right. Lava lake. So there is a lake forming in there, or already has. definitely formed. And I see that the rest of the islands are green. Let's come on over here. I wanted to come back up to our war zone just a little bit up in here in Mexico. Just to the south of Guatemala, which is kind of our ending point of the war zone. And come on past Nicaragua. And you can see she's a pretty good one. She made some sound. Look at all the reports, guys, of this slamma jamma. And that is a conglomeration that they're firing up. You can see, take a look at that. Boom, that big one went off. And of course, there's our twinsies. Always have to have those in there somewhere right at the beginning, right? Okay, so this one was just off of Quespos. And guys, look at what's right next to it. A national park, of course. All right, all this, they have to control all this and through here. Too much going on right out here. Let's take a look at that slamma jamma. All right, guys, it was at 31 km and it was a 5.9. It rocked enough. Honestly, if it was 31 km with a 5.9, they had to have hit that just about dead on. Let's take a look at the spray. When I say spray, I'm talking about the people reporting. So it's hard when it's right off the coast because you don't know which way it went unless it's large like this. You can see a very large conglomeration reporting clear down here for that one dome. Clear down into San Felix district. And I do see a Nubian right here 4 hours ago. Ooh, 10 km. Yes. And a 4.2. Boy, the military's liking that 4.2 action, huh? Most definitely. So you can see that they are getting ready to pretty much begin to do all of this area in through here. Let's take a look at what our twinsies were. Our twinsies, so 23 km, 4.0, and that was 10 hours ago. Let's take a look at that other one and see what that is. Our other twinsie, 10 hours ago, 23 km, 4.1 blast. So it's definitely twinsies in sections for sure. So they'll be there for a little bit. Let's take a look at just these smaller ones and see what the depth is. So 17 there, 2.2 blast. I'm going to assume most of these out here. There's that 23 km again. Just a little popper, a little firecracker there. All right, let's come back out here. And note too, of course, the government wants to make sure they control the area. So, of course, they stamp it as a national forest and collect taxes, too, at the same time. Let's go ahead. I just want to see if this will light up as far as it went, supposedly. All right, guys, let's just pull on out and see if it'll show the truth here before I talk. Yep, it does. All right, guys, I want you guys to note from this one dumb that went off, reminder that its depth was 23 km, okay? And look at how far up the spray from that. See all the reports? Clear up in here, up into New Hampshire, guys. My goodness. Really? I highly doubt that was a 5.9. I'm pretty sure it was a little bit stronger. Let's go to the farthest north from this dumb, and that's coming from this dumb clear down here south of Nicaragua, all right? She was a good slammer jammer. Let's just go to New Hampshire and see what they said about this one. Oops. I gotta click on it again. If that happens to you, just go back and click on the dumb again and it'll show everything again for you. big, look at that big conglomeration there of reports. Lots of yellow, and I actually see some deep yellow in there. We'll look at those in just a minute. Let's come on up here. So Boston, somebody in Boston is reporting in downtown. Let's just see if it adds up. All right, let's try this again here. Okay, so this is... All right, guys. Every time I click on the reports of shaking, it dismisses the app. So I don't know why I can't click on them. It just completely throws me out. But you can see generally it's being reported from that dumb as far as Toronto and Boston, down here in Washington. I find these spots very interesting. North Carolina. And we even have one, because we always have this one lit up in Miami. We even have one being reported as far south as south of Pembroke Pines down in Florida, just to the northwest of Miami. So if you'd like to, go back to the maps and you can go ahead and click on those. Keep trying throughout the day. I just think it's a glitch in the app. But you can see downtown. Wow, look at those reports. Okay. Especially right inside of this area where all the highways, everything's San Jose, guys. This is San Jose. Downtown San Jose. Take a look at all those reports. You guys, this dumb right here was something much more than what they're telling us. I promise you there's no chance that there is a ricochet of this being felt as far as Toronto and it not being something more than what they're showing that it is. 31 km, which is 13. Okay, just flip it and you have 13. A 5.9 blast, which is 14, and that equals 2 sevens. 2 sevens. There you go. Really, the language is right inside the numbers. So we know it was a doozy. It was a big one. Most definitely. Right off the coastline of San Jose. Okay, let's go ahead. We're going to go ahead and run up to our little war zone here, which is in between Mexico City and Guatemala. Here is our squeeze zone. You can see they're still very, very active in through here. We also have a railway that runs through there too. And speaking of railways, let's go on down to Panama down here, where we can take a look at the DUMS action. All right, you can see there's even reports of shaking from that DUM all the way down here in Panama. Very specific. There's something more to that DUM we were looking at, guys. All right, so Panama too has decided that they're going to go ahead and build right next to the actual canal. They're going to go ahead and build a railway, and they've already started it, and they're working on it to try and get all the way across with the railway. Also, that's going to run parallel with the Panama Canal. And a lot of things happening with Panama because Panama several years ago, we are basically at war to get our Panama Canal back from China. We built the canal, and then the deep state, we gave it to Panama, as like a gift, so to speak, but you need to manage it because it's a through traffic way for, all of everything in the world. It's very key. The Panama Canal is.
45 minutes.
Anybody who has a hold of the Panama Canal just about owns, the entire world, which includes a few more. But anyways, so Panama, we gave it to them after we were done building it, and to manage, pretty much manage, but it was still like a gift. And for several reasons, including the cabal, they basically surrendered it over to China. And now we are at the point where we're taking it back. So what we've done this week, I just want to let you know, is our ambassador to Panama has now slapped on, they're starting to take visas from the people who are running the canal, okay? And they're just yanking them all together. Also, there was another piece of action that happened with that this week in Panama. Basically, what we're doing is we're taking visas because Panama is finally not at peace with us, okay? Panama is upset with us. We're upset with them now. We're basically saying, hey, look, you got this taken away from some by some commies. Whichever way you guys did, you sold it, got in trouble. You know how the cabal is. You know, they're all friendly and nice, and then they go ahead and blackmail you. Well, China came in basically as steps away from completely of taking it over from Panama and has been pretty much running it. And we're saying, hey, Panama, we're yanking your stuff now, and we're coming in, and we're going to make sure China doesn't run this port ever again. They will get it back. Definitely Panama will. But temporarily, this is war. And China's got it hijacked, and it's ours to begin with. We built it. And so we're going to be taking that back. So that is the update on the Panama war situation there. So just one more thing. So the president of Panama got on, and he came out and he was very upset this week, you guys. And he was saying, we're not liking what you're doing here, USA. Well, too bad. All right, you guys got it stolen. They've been using it for trafficking for years. Some of the largest ships in the world holding the most people. Evergreen, Hillary, and Obama's mess. Okay, it was bad, guys. And so here is the actual Panama Canal. And you can see they come in right here. All right. And here's your fill-up tanks right here for it in order for it to go up or down. And then here we go. Here is another one right here for ships to come in through. Okay. This Panama Canal is very precious. And it's not ours. And it's not Panama's. And it's not China's. It's the world's. That's what we were told when the U.S. was done with it. It was the world's. Okay. And so there's a big war going on there. And of course, we've got our hurricane spinning out here, flooding Dums. Okay. And we did have a pretty good sized dam down here in Ecuador, guys. So here's Ecuador in South America. And here is the dam we're going to look at 14 hours ago. Let's see here. So 73, we're really dealing with high numbers right now in those areas, and a 5.5 blast. 5.5. Okay, and let's go ahead and there is one more thing I want to throw in before we move it on our map. Talking about Panama, okay, and the throughway for very large container ships to go through. And what's on the container ships? Containers. What's in the containers? Children. And we know that things like the largest corporations across the world, the largest, look dwarfed compared to child trafficking. The banks are starting to show their heads. City something. It's Citibank, but it's a subsidiary like that. I think it's called Citi something. Sorry, guys, I can't remember the name of the bank. was just pushed to the surface like a pimple and we've been told that they were one of the largest for supporting the covering up of trafficking of children. We do know that with the banks right now, our cabal banks are pedal to the metal right now. We've got their backs against the wall, their feet to the fire per se, because Basel IV is here and compliancy they're struggling with because their numbers were inflated with lies, using numbers for trafficking. And the reason why I'm bringing this back up again is because you say to yourself, well, where do all these kids come from that they use, like that? And I'm just going to give you a for instance, because Obamacare is new to the system, but everybody thought it was for medical reasons. Well, that's the way they were playing it in the cabal world. They wanted it to go through the medical systems so that they could see each and every child, their hair color, their weight, where they came from, everything about them. They would know through Obamacare. Let's go ahead and just get a quick report here about Obamacare and how Obamacare directly relates to some of the largest trafficking of children in organization and and being organized that well that they can strip kids out of the system without people really noticing. And the ones on a private level that do notice, they just shut them up like that. All right, here we go, guys.
Obamacare was set up for one reason and one reason only, and that's to traffic children. Obamacare. It's the only reason it was set up. What if I told you that they invested so much money, they built 3 supercomputers in the university in Austin, Texas, that a mother can go to her gynecologist, find out that she's pregnant, and the moment he puts in the code, the child traffickers are following that mother, their pregnancy. They know whether she's going to get an abortion, whether she has a live birth. They follow the kid through the first few years of school. They know if it's got blonde hair, blue eyes, or red hair, green eyes, or whatever. And what if they got blood type, DNA, all your medical records? Obamacare coding system removed doctor-patient confidentiality from the United States and the world. Don't think it just happened here. It happened all over the world in every United Nations country when that was passed. We started it. So it's a 5-digit coding system with over 80,000 codes. We call it medical kidnapping in this country. I have parents that have walked into Phoenix Children's Hospital, and they can be up there talking to their doctor. Their doctor writes stuff down in his notes. He hands it to the medical coding expert in his office. She takes it, she puts it in the computer. CPS and the Superior Court of Arizona leases space in the basement of the hospital. A red flag pops up on the CPS agent's computer down there. She has every medical record, the home address, the parent's name, everything. She can cut, paste, put it on her documents, an order to remove, walk it next door to the judge, have him sign it, get in the elevator, be upstairs within 5 minutes taking the child.
On what ground?
Whatever they want to think of. Yeah,
I heard they lease space in every hospital.
they do. Every hospital.
Yeah, every hospital.
The courts and CPS, every major hospital in the United States, they lease space. But let me tell you something. I'll tell you what they've told me. They told me all the evidence that we've turned in the last 3 years, it could take the military as long as 10 years just to take care of it. There's not enough people to even take care of it.
What if there were?
Sweetheart, I'm going to tell you there is. And we have a lot of help right now.
A very lot of help.
We haven't had that help for that long. And I don't really want to talk too much about it, except one-on-one in private maybe. I'll show you some things. Okay? But we have a lot of help right now.
A lot.
I always knew there was good and evil. I always knew that when people rise into a position of power, a lot of times they get very corrupted and they start committing the 7 deadly sins, and then Satan takes over. But what I didn't know until maybe 5 or 10 years ago is that the whole world revolves around child and human trafficking.
Everything.
Think about what I told you about our birth certificates. We're being bought and sold legally to fund governments all over the world. This is why they can afford to be so bloated, to have agencies. They're only supposed to provide us with 19 essential governmental services and no more. They're providing us with 6,000 and forcing us at gunpoint to pay for it. But they're also using our trafficked selves, our trusts, to fund that. Here's one thing about good and evil, both. They both have to disclose ahead of time. That's the universal nature of law. They have to disclose it. And it's been disclosed for a long time. But we just never noticed. We don't pay attention. That's right. No. Plus, it's like a puzzle. Okay? They throw away the box top, and then they put one piece here, and one piece here, and one piece. And you got to figure out, well, gather up all the pieces, figure out
Just
what is
about
a piece,
impossible.
gather up the pieces, and then you got to put it together to see the picture. All right.
And just note, he was speaking of hospitals. Yes, most hospitals were all about the trafficking of children. And when I say that, I'm talking about trafficking in special ways too, like medically, making children sick with cancer, okay? Those facilities will go bye-bye. All of those illnesses should not have existed. They were using them all to facilitate their medical nightmares of trafficking children and doing horrible things. The hospitals, yes, had a CPS station right in it. If the right baby came out of the right mom, she was either leaving the hospital with a baby that wasn't hers, okay, or they were going to go ahead and let her know that the baby died. I can't tell you how many women think that their baby died at birth and it didn't. Okay, and I'll be honest with you guys, it does go a step deeper with children leaving the hospital, being born to a mother, and then the mother going home with something other than their own baby. It really does go deep what these guys were doing to get a hold of the blood of humans, okay? You can think cloning, all right? Go that avenue, think cloning. I don't want to scare mothers out there. The truth of the matter is a lot of us did not leave the hospital with the same ones we gave birth to. And if we did, throughout school and stuff like that, if you've ever noticed, some people would say just one day my kid came home and he was just totally different, just totally different. Put that together a little bit with these school systems and trafficking, and it will unfortunately give you the darkest answer you ever dreamed up of your life. But these things are true in large amounts. And when you hear him say that Obamacare was set up as a system to traffic children, imagine the boost in children they got when Obamacare opened up. Obamacare was meant to fail for the people and be a crazy system because it wasn't put in place for us. It was put in place for trafficking like that. So on a very, very large scale, Panama here, we're coming at you because this sweet, beautiful canal that we're looking at here, that was given to the world by the U.S., which the U.S. is just as bad, was really not about our goods and services. It was about the trafficking of human beings. And that's why you'll see our system is getting cut back to 4%. We don't need 6 billion trucks out on the road. They were all about trafficking these 18-wheelers. How about Cisco? Guys, think Cisco. How much did Cisco, the food restaurant supply to people out on the roads? What was really in Cisco's 18-wheelers We don't need them anymore, guys. We need about 4% of what was going on around the world to take care of ourselves. And
Hey,
that's
we got less
another
than a half
reason
hour, you guys.
why
28 minutes.
large companies are going away and stuff like that. They were all
There's a lot
built and
of
designed like
information that
Walmart
News
as a
Force
front for us to
really
make it
good.
look like it was for us, but really we were a pain in their butt and in the way. It was all about the trafficking of children and the damage that they have done to the world like that. So this Panama Canal thing, I really pick it apart and make it important on News Force because I want to express to people how big this is, that we go ahead and take it back per se, and then give it back to the good people of Panama to begin to run it again. So we're getting ready to absolutely butt heads with China in the 3D, advancing to the 4D, and hopefully for a 5D end. As we wrap things up with a couple of other countries, trying to make peace with them. All right, guys. I know I said this was going to be a short, just a brief. We're just going to look at a couple of things, but you know how it goes. Once I get on this board and start looking around, we end up going a lot of different places. Let's go up here into Maine. I see a couple being blown up here in Portland. Here's one in Portland, guys, out there in Maine. Okay, that was at a 5 km, and that was a 1.9 blast. So just a little pop. They were just taking a little something, vein off of a main out. Let's go up here off the coast here in Maine and see what this one was all about. I wish I knew the name of that island. There it is. Monaghan Island. What do we have here? This shipwreck. Whoops. Oh, it doesn't want to let me click on it. All right, so here is the dumb, guys. 3 days ago. Ooh, 10 km out there. There we go. Got ourselves a main. Yeah, they pop up out of nowhere there as they're finishing stuff up and things are linked together. It's kind of like don't pull the top domino before you, or the top Jenga before you pull a bottom one like that. So sometimes they have to come back and go ahead and hit those as last minute things. And I see up here in Quebec City too, you guys had yourselves one right out there off the water. Not surprised, right, guys? Water. Watch the water, 28 km, pretty deep. And that was just a little piddly poof of a 2.5. All right, let's just, well, now wait a minute. It's showing that there was reports of shaking. Yeah, see, you got to stop, guys. 28 km, a 2.5 blast. I don't think so that it would cause that much shaking. Let's come on back out and take a look at that shaking. I think maybe I'm going to try and click on one. It'll probably dump us out. Yeah, there it goes. It dumped us out. There's a good reason for that, and I'm just not sure, but we can't get that shaking. Let's go on over here to the West Coast and just see what we can see. We'll go over to Olympic National Park, see how quiet it is there now. Guys, after all that craziness, the fires and all of the action on the east side of this mountain, the dumbs and stuff like that that we've blown up, it looks like things have quieted down real nice up there for you guys. And coming over here into the Montana area, you can see the pace has picked up after the fires and stuff like that out there in the Lewis and Clark National Forest. They were doing some action on the ground, definitely dumbs ground to air out there for quite a while with the fires and stuff. Now you can see the pace has picked back up with the dumbs again being blown up. Clear over here to Boise National Forest. You guys, these national forests were so bad. Now you know why they had them under government control. A, to take our money, so they could do the trafficking they were doing and the awful things that were happening out there. And to be able to know who comes and goes from these national forests. So I do believe that national forests will turn into something else. We will not be like funding them anymore and stuff. It'll be more, I think that somebody will take them over and just watch over them. But the government should not have any control over any of our land like that at all, because you see what happens, right? Like that. Let's go into Los Angeles and take a peeker. All right. Los Angeles looks pretty darn quiet, huh? Out there in San Bernardino, just to the south, I see some action. All right. And let's come on back out. Long Beach is pretty quiet. Long Beach being right here. And here's the heart of Los Angeles there. Let's just climb down through and take a look at how the Baja area is doing. Okay, yep, the Salton Sea, they're still pretty active. We've talked about this quite a bit. They were working really hard on this area after they completed the Salton Sea. And it looks like there's one right out in the middle again. Let's see what that is. Hopefully a 10 km. Nope. It's a 4 km. 1.2 blast. Okay. Yeah, the Salton Sea was really bad for nefarious things, and you can see it's surrounded again by national forests all over the place. Of course, California would have the most because they're right off the water, where all of the ports where submarine ports and stuff were, and the ports for the container ships and stuff were. So, of course, we're going to see a lot of national forests in there. Now, I wanted to just show you guys, they're still pretty busy in Oklahoma. There's really not much to say except for Oklahoma was really bad. Oklahoma City was the home to the FAA training, all that kind of stuff. Really bad stuff went on there. That training and all that was a cover up for what was going on in Oklahoma City. It was pretty bad, guys. Pretty darn bad. And I was in that city for FAA reasons one time, and as soon as I entered the city, I could feel the air. It was just thick, and I didn't know what it was, but I could feel it. And definitely now I know. Let's jump over here to Midland and all that area here and see how they're doing. Still, we're what, 2 years in since those tornadoes went through? A year and a half, guys? And we're still busy in Big Springs.
Darn it. Oh, what did I do? Hang on.
Well, good morning, warriors. Wendy from News Force here.
That when people...
Ooh, 10 km out there. There we go. Got ourselves a main. Yeah, they pop up out of nowhere there as they're finishing stuff up and things are linked together. Vilachinsk, Russia. Villach. Oh, I butchered that.
Yeah, I missed
and
about 10 minutes of it, I think.
All right, guys. So
This
it was 73 km, and that was a 5.1 blast. Good slammer jammer just to
we had about
hit her
28
home over
minutes.
there in Russia.
Showing
All right. It looks like they're real busy
18
up
left.
here. Look at all
We're
those.
right
You
about
can almost see
right
the
where we left
lines when
off.
they blow it up. like that. We definitely haven't come across any grid yet today. That's for sure. Let's go on down here. I just want to take a look at the Philippines and South. So here is the Philippines, guys. They're pretty active over here. I see a biggie in here. Let's grab it. Oh, there we go. There's some grid. There you go, guys. Nice and fresh grid. There you go. Yeah, any of your friends say, no, no, those are just natural earthquakes. Yeah, bring them here and show them this. And then they'll be quiet real fast and start asking questions. Beautiful grid. Isn't that gorgeous, guys? I love seeing that. Just awesome. Lets you know that it's them. We're here and we're doing damage. All right, let's take this is just to the north and to the east of Naked Island. And this would be in the Philippines. And this was 6 days ago, guys. 69 km. We have some deep ones, don't we? 6.1 blast. Wow. Yep, that was a pretty good slammer jammer. Let's go in close. Oh, of course, look at all the churches popping up. That's another thing, guys. The churches. Oh, no, another Walmart front. And if you think your minister isn't doing it, I don't know, guys. I wouldn't say all of them are, but you get into the bigger ones and oh yes, they are, okay? Especially all of them. I was going to say the Catholic. It's not just them. 69 km, 6.1 blast. Take a look at some of these dumbs when I'm talking about dumbs in cities and see how many churches and stuff are near them. Let's see here. That's the first thing I did when I saw those churches pop up. What's around it? Well, here's your elementary school. Okay. Let's go on in close. All right. Durero Street and Union Street. Right in the middle of the street. Dun, dun, dun. There's a church. It's a pretty big church. What kind of church is it here? It's a parish. So parish would be, well, that covers several different, I can't click on it. Several different denominations of religion. Religion was the problem to begin with, guys, okay? Religion's a real problem and it needs to go. The religion was put in place to divide and separate everybody so you'd be busy stuck on the religion and not looking at what was really going on. Quite a bit of, look at all the reports of shaking. I sure wish we could click in on it, but we can't right now. All right, let's just go along here and let things pop up. See if we can see any biggies. All right. Keep going here. See how India's doing nice and quiet. We've got some biggies right in here. Just south of Tajikistan. I'm sorry, let me try it one more. Tajikistan. There we go. There we go. All right. And what do we have here? So this would be considered Afghanistan. Okay. 243 km, 5.1 blast. Do you hear how deep that is? Yeah, these tunnels go deep, guys, real deep. So it looks like they got started after that blast 21 hours ago. They've been working on this area. It looks like
She's breaking up.
they're going to get started on another area. Let's go in close and just see. Oh, look at that, guys. Water. Right next to it. Of course. Have to be able to use those submarine tunnels. All right, there we go. Yeah, there is civilization there, that's for sure. Let's just kind of follow it. Okay, guys. See those buildings and stuff. Yeah, this was all this and through here. Everything going on here was all about this down here. Yeah. Afghanistan, a lot of things a lot of people wanted in the world from there, right? For sure. All right, guys. I do have some breaking news here, and that was just in time because I was going to go ahead and show you my last little skit I had for you guys. But what the heck, we're already over almost an hour. Let's add in, this is breaking news. 82nd Airborne soldiers foil daring cartel border breach in Arizona desert. Let me go ahead and have a listen here for us.
2nd Airborne soldiers foil daring cartel border breach in Arizona desert. Published by Real Raw News. In a nail-biting skirmish, soldiers from the 82nd Airborne Division last night repelled armed Mexican cartel members trying to infiltrate the United States of America. The incident occurred along a remote stretch of the Arizona-Mexico border, where the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is currently constructing a border fence near Barry M. Goldwater Range, formerly Luke Air Force Base, in southwestern Arizona. The confrontation began shortly after midnight on October 21st, when surveillance drones operated by the 82nd Airborne detected unusual movement near the massive 1.9 million acre training area. As reported previously in numerous articles, white hats, Marines and soldiers and National Guardsmen have been embedded in border reinforcement teams ever since Texas Governor Greg Abbott began laying razor wire on the U.S. side of the Rio Grande to mitigate illegal incursions in 2023. According to white hat sources familiar with last night's event, approximately 12 individuals believed to be affiliated with the notorious Sinaloa cartel approached the border under the cover of darkness. They carried what appeared to be automatic rifles and were attempting to exploit a gap in the fence, one source said. They were equipped and coordinated, our source added. 4 snuck through an opening, and when the 82nd moved to intercede, 2 hostiles fired at them but didn't hit shit. This was a direct assault on U.S. sovereignty. A second source, Sergeant First Class Jamal Torres, a veteran of multiple deployments, summarized the scene. Part of our mission is patrolling the perimeter to support the engineers and to guard equipment. A patrol was doing just that, fulfilling our duty, because there had been thefts, when word came down that drones had spotted heat signatures breaching the fence. The patrol moved in and heard voices in Spanish. Then came muzzle flashes. The invaders had evidently detected the patrol and fired first, Torres said, prompting the soldiers to respond with measured force. They responded with a mix of warning shots, flashbang grenades, and precision fire from their rifles after the cartel members refused to heed commands to withdraw. The soldiers took cover behind industrial equipment, backhoes, post drivers, and piles of steel fence posts, and launched flares to illuminate the intruders. Meanwhile, helicopter support from nearby Yuma Proving Ground arrived, illuminating the area with spotlights and providing aerial reconnaissance, compelling the surviving attackers to retreat across the border. No U.S. forces were injured, our source said, but 4 cartel members were killed in the exchange. The fence will be completed on schedule, he said. We found backpacks full of fentanyl on the corpses. Engineers are expected to resume work on the fence today, and the gap targeted by the cartel should be within days. Military officials plan to bolster patrols with additional drone swarms and ground sensors, ensuring the range remains secure for training exercises.
All right, guys, let's take a look at that on the map. We're headed over to Arizona. All right, and so here is Yuma. Right here, okay. And here is Barry M. Goldwater Air Force Base, now called Barry M. Goldwater Air Force Base. So right in through here is where the fighting went on. And here is your border right here. Mexico. Us. Like so. And just a very small taste of the actual site of it being out on the roads, the human trafficking and how it's hidden. Let's take a look.
What do they use these for? Do you know?
For the fence.
For the fences?
Yeah.
Do you have anything illegal inside the vehicle?
Oh, no.
No, anything?
No.
Anything illegal inside the wood here?
No, sir.
Nothing at all? Okay. You gave me consent to search the vehicle and everything inside of it. Morning.
Morning, sir. How you doing today?
Good, sir. Yourself?
Good. You here to work?
That's what I'm talking about. Turn around. Turn around. Put your hands behind your back. You're under arrest for human smuggling.
And there you go. Imagine how many children would sit in there passed out cold because of drugs.
Okay, I think that's good, man. ¿Cuántos son? 5.
Chequense todos bien, están todos bien de salud.
Aquí siéntense enseguida, por favor. Estírese los pies.
And a little bit more. This is the real reason why our military is going, one of the reasons why our military is going into these cities. And we're saying it's because of illegal immigration. No, it's not. Let's get a listen.
So the riots got started in Los Angeles not because ICE was going in and arresting people who came here illegally, but because the fashion district had an investigation going on where they were smuggling and laundering money in from Mexico and Colombia. They did not report over 80
Colombia.
million in goods, and they did not pay over 17 million in taxes. So it's tax evasion. And of course, the Mexican president decided she would put in her 2 cents and say that the Mexican protesters that basically attacked ICE were heroes. So basically, these rioters were just interrupting an investigation, and they've gaslighted this community of high-strung people to believe that it was because people were being deported, which then lands the Unified School District of LA to get on a press conference and say, if you don't feel safe, we can use our schools as a safe place, even over the summer, basically saying they're going to harbor illegals. And all of a sudden, it's just turned into something that it wasn't before.
Here's another one that looked like we were trying to take out immigrants, but that wasn't what was going on. Here we go.
Crowd quickly gathered to protest what they thought was an enforcement on undocumented immigrants. Now, a woman who was arrested protesting that day is shedding new light on what agents were really looking for. 27-year-old Isabel Lopez has been indicted on 4 counts, including obstructing, impeding, resisting, and assaulting officers. Authorities say that Lopez punched an FBI agent in the head, kicked and shoved other federal agents, and even threw a softball at the back of a Hennepin County deputy. And what Lopez and others thought was an ICE raid was actually part of a criminal investigation, one that yielded 900 pounds of methamphetamine.
Wow.
Multiple federal agencies executed search warrants at a number of locations. They are all connected to an investigation into drug trafficking, human trafficking, and money laundering. Officials say they recovered 900 pounds of meth from a Burnsville storage shed worth $22 to $25 million. Agents also seized gold-plated guns and portraits of Al Pacino's character from the movie Scarface. Lopez made an initial appearance in U.S. District Court. Remember, these are federal charges, and authorities say she will remain in custody pending a detention hearing.
So as we can see here, we were just a money machine that was in the way that they had to inconveniently put up storefronts for. And things like Cisco, restaurant supply for that kind of stuff to cover their tracks. The world is getting ready to be a very different and very simple place. Our finances are going to be simple. Our whatever we choose to do on this planet, there will be no more work. It'll be simple. Okay. We won't be running to doctors every day because we won't have any medical issues anymore. We know that all disease came from the medical doctors and the cabal scientists and were put in through our vaccinations and our food and our water. That will cease to exist. We will have a place of peace where we will live again amongst our families and enjoy each other. Straight up Laura Ingalls Wilder style, but that style in the case of modernization. We will have love trains that will take us very quickly. Anything the cabal stole from us in 6,000 technologies is already coming back to us in droves. The TVs are full of the new technology coming out. Just ivermectin and fenbenzanol alone are just biggies in this. They're already beginning the technology of med beds out there that you can get into. We're going ahead and cleaning up our streets, not of immigrants, but what we're cleaning our streets up of are the pedophiles, guys. We're talking local levels. We're talking your mayors. We're talking your representatives. We are talking most of them, 97% are what I say they are. They are Kabbalists. They are Masons. They are pedophiles. Okay, they are adrenochrome freaks, and they all have to go like that. So if you see your neighbor there and gone and you don't know where they went, I wouldn't be asking any questions like that. Pharmacists, will be cleaning up on them. The medical field, it's completely coming. And we fight for our babies that we love so much. And one more thing I want to flash across the screen regarding our medical field or our kill field. If you have been a part of this system in any way, shape, or form, okay, medically involved in any of the killings of human beings or the corruption of the medical field, okay, they're coming for you. And you will not be able to use the excuse, I was just carrying out orders. You could have done your studying too. The medical field is under scrutiny right now, and we are stripping it down. If you had anything to do with this at all, you would have hoped to have been somebody of the medical field of the past that died before we got to them, because we're coming for you. We have been tearing down the medical field now for the last 5 years, and you're getting ready. It's kind of like when they clear a forest and they're going to build on it. They always clear it back to front, right? Leaving that front up. Yeah, well, that's just about all that's left, and you're getting ready to see it absolutely tip and fall over and collapse. And we are extremely happy about that. That's what we want to see happen. So with that, guys, my short, quick update turned into an hour's report, just like it always does. And I hope everybody has themselves a fantastic day. This is Wendy from News Force.
Okay. Wow. She knows, she got a lot of information, so that's an important video to play when she comes out with that. Then we'll have the Australia one tonight. We'll play, that's an hour, and then we'll start off with the Benny Johnson and our cast videos, and then we'll do the short ones. We'll save the last hour for the one from Australia. All right, good to see everybody again, and everybody, glad to see all the old names back. Caribbean person there, Alexander. We got there. We got JJ from Australia. I think we had a few other ones from Spain, I think. Can't remember his name, but thanks for people that's all over the world. And Kay, get your rest. I hope we'll see you in there tonight's show. Raisin, good like always. Oh, Chico's finally getting out of the bed, huh? Ooh, sleepy, weren't you? You know what time to wake up, don't you? Yep, you know when I get off, huh? So, and he finally found the channel. All right, so we'll take a break here, and I'll get everything set up for 6 o'clock after dinner show. 6 o'clock nightly news. So God bless everybody. Love all. Please hit like. Make sure you sub to the backup channel. Thank you, and stay safe, stay strong, get the faith. Never give up. Signing off, Chico Do, and we'll see you soon.